Great, so when you're ready, we'll start on the mat, somewhat in mountain pose or any comfortable position with our feet firmly planted underneath our hips, shoulders stacked on top, a neutral spine, and rolling the shoulders back as best as possible. Bringing the hands out into dynamic tension if so desired, tucking the pelvis under, engaging the abdomen, taking a few deep breaths in through the nose and releasing through the mouth. Noticing the muscles in our faces soften, allowing our breath to assume its natural rhythm. Noticing each exhalation and the pause at the bottom of each exhale and the difference between the last and the next. We focus on our exhalations as is with our exhales that we activate the parasympathetic nervous system, bringing balance and equilibrium to our bodies, bringing a sense of calm and stability. Running through a body scan from head to toe, getting a sense of the mood of the body, the energy that may be running through. Not getting stuck on any part of the body, but running through and noticing any parts along the way where we may be holding tension, or perhaps we feel lightness. Bringing our awareness back to our minds, setting an intention for today's practice if you so desire, or perhaps an affirmation. Releasing the arms to our sides if they were in mountain pose, and slowly starting to bounce, allowing the shoulders to shrug naturally with the rhythm of the knees, possibly swaying our body weight from left to right, shifting the weight, bringing our arms and letting them flow side to side or perhaps in front and in back. Option to lift a foot, bouncing as vigorously or as gently as you like. Allowing the head to roll. Shaking up all the energy that we've built up throughout the day. Shaking the feet and the hands. Forward and back, side to side. Good. And 10 more seconds, a little more vigorously. Really shake it up, making sound if you like. Get everything shaking, 5 more seconds. And then finding our stillness. Once again, running through a body scan, noticing the change in our energy, perhaps a little buzzing in the body. Great. And with our right arm, we're going to swing our right arm all the way back as a swimmer's stroke, and then we'll shift to the left. Inhale, lifting the arms, circling it around. Rotating the spine gently. as big or as small as circles as suits you. Get ourselves moving, slowly warming up. Again, paying attention to the exhalation. It's the deep breath in that activates our nervous system, and we balance that out with the exhales. Bringing back equilibrium to the body. Let's do one more in this direction. And then we'll switch directions, drawing the arm all the way back and around to the front. Getting a flow. Maybe even opening up the side body. Breathing deeply in, expanding the rib cage laterally. One more on each side. And we come back to center. Great. Oh, feel them, the buzzing rushing through our bodies at this time. We're going to do our squats, so stepping a little bit farther, perhaps even bringing our heels off the mat. So rolling up the mat underneath the heels, or a cushion or some sort of a pillow or towel. You want to elevate the heels, maybe a little bit more comfortable. Swooping the arms up on the inhale. On the exhale, we bring our hands down to heart center into our squat. We forward fold, straightening the legs slightly, and then inhale all the way back up. Exhale, sinking down. Forward fold, rolling up gently, one vertebra at a time. Finding a flow that suits our energy today, our breath, letting the breath guide us. There's no rush, no expectation for a specific speed or flow. We're taking the time to warm up our bodies. Getting a sense of this state of our body that we can honor and protect. We'll do two more. Coming back to standing in stillness, back in mountain pose. Deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Good. Bringing our hands up to our shoulders, bringing the thumb and the index fingers together. We're going to pump our arms up over the shoulders as we pump our knees up. Finding a little bit of traveling space on our mats as desired. We'll stay with the legs at 90 degrees to start. Pumping as high as you can possibly go today within our means. Now we can move the legs out on a diagonal. Warming into the hip flexors and the hip sockets and joints. Bringing a little awareness to what's happening, the sensations we may be feeling. Great. 2 more. Now we come back to our mountain pose. This time hands to heart center, deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. We reset. Good. Getting our hearts pumping, generating a little extra immunity and vitality in our bodies. We'll do a few vinyasas with our arms swooping all the way up on the inhale. Exhale, we'll forward fold. Inhale, hands to knees, flat back. Inhale, we lower. Exhale, hands to flat back. We lower down and then swooping up on the next inhale. Exhale, hands to heart center. Again, we'll repeat this 2 more times. Going to the rhythm of our breath. Exhale, we forward fold. Inhale, we swoop all the way up. Hands to heart center. Let's do 1 more. Keeping our knees bent as needed to protect the lower back and hamstrings. We'll come back down into our forward fold. And this time we'll hang out here, bringing our hands inside of the elbows and shifting the weight left to right, bending and pressing one knee, bending one and pressing the other back, shifting our weight. Breaking up any blocked energy we may be holding in the back of the legs. Releasing the arms down to the mat. We're going to tuck our hands underneath the fronts of our feet, starting off with our knees bent. We take deep breaths in, and then on the exhale, we press the knees back slightly. Inhale, we bend the knees, hugging our chests and abdomen to the thighs. On the exhale, we press back up, pressing our chins to chest and the knees away. Inhale, we lower down into a bit of a squat. Exhale, we press back using our breath to power the motion. Breathing the legs long. Maintaining an elongated spine from tailbone to crown of head. Do 2 more. And then holding here, releasing the hands. Taking another deep breath in and release. With our arms hanging long, we'll come up into full body circle. So circling, stacking the vertebrae up one at a time, rounding out the arms, and then slowly lowering all the way back down. Inhale, we come all the way back up, swooping the arms, and then round back up. Gentle spinal twist, as big or as little circles as suits you. No specific speed, so long as we're listening to our breath and allowing the breath to guide us. Possibly lifting our hearts to the sky as we inhale. Good. Finishing this rotation, we'll switch directions. Noticing the sensations in our lower backs. Let's do 2 more. Back into our forward fold. Bringing our hands down in front of us, up on the fingertips. We wiggle the feet in slightly, keeping our knees bent. Then we're going to walk the hands around to one side of the body. Listening here to the lower back. Bringing our hands around to the side only as far as we're able to breathe a steady rhythm. Using the exhalation to press into the stretch, sinking a little bit deeper into the pose, maybe straightening the far leg. Good. Coming back to center, bending the knees, and walking the hands all the way over to the other side. Once again, we listen to the lower back. With our exhalations, we press into the side body, possibly pressing the knee of the opposite leg back to straight, maintaining a steady rhythm of breath. Good, one more breath. And we'll walk our hands back to center. Bending the knees here, we swoop all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands to heart. Oh, well done, yogis. Stepping wide on our mats, come into a goddess pose. We're going to do a little bit more of a dynamic motion to start. This time reaching our arms up to the sky. We'll start with our sunflowers on the inhale, lifting our arms up. On the exhale, hinging at the hips, scooping down below our arms. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, scooping down below. One motion, one breath. Maintaining a tall upper body and an erect spine. Lowering into the squat as low as the body will allow. Let's do 2 more. One more time up. And we come into our goddess squat, holding here, alternating our arms. We're going to press into the left thigh muscle with our forearm. On the inhale, we'll lift the right arm up and over our head. Exhaling, lifting and switching sides. On the inhale, pressing into the opposite thigh on the exhale. Switching sides. Windmilling the arms left to right, breathing into the sides of our bodies and creating space between the ribs. Staying in the side body. Create breathing space for yourselves. Feeling the calm strength of our legs, the steady rhythm of our breath. We'll do 1 more on each side. reaching and elongating the upper body. Inhale, coming all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Take a deep breath in to reset. Good. Exhale. Swaying left to right with our legs. And we'll do a toe tap with the opposite hand. Bringing awareness to the inner thigh muscles as well as the glutes. Gentle sway. Let's do one more on each side. And then we hold a skandasana, coming over to one side, keeping a tall and high lunge, bringing the foot off the mat, flexing the toes, pointing them up, lowering down if that's accessible for you today, finding a pose that suits your body. Perhaps we're forward hinging, rounding out the lower back and allowing the chin to fall to the chest. Perhaps we're holding ourselves tall and strong, finding the pose that works best for you. Focusing on the stretch of the inner thigh muscle, perhaps the lower back, and the hip joint where we're hinging at the one side. Maintaining our awareness and presence in this moment. Practicing maintaining our presence in challenging moments on the mat so that we're stronger and more capable of processing these moments in real life. Good. With our hands back on the mat, we press over to the other side. Checking in, seeing which position works best for us today. On this side, listening to the inner thigh muscle, the hip joint, bringing the foot off the ground as a first step, flexing the toes up. And if you'd like to explore lowering down, you are welcome to. Again, finding that pose that works best on this side. Noticing what's happening in our jaws, the speed of our breath. Good. Bringing our arms back down to the mat. We press up back into our goddess, this time with our hands in front of us on the fingertips, and we'll straighten the legs, pressing the back of the knees away. Lowering our heads, chins to chest, finding a block as needed, and shifting the hips left and right, gently rolling through, feeling the back of the legs, the hamstrings, maybe even slowly starting to add a side bend in there. Good. And with our left hand underneath our faces, planted firmly on the mat, wiggling the feet into whatever position helps bring stability to the body, opening up the right arm over top of the body, stacking it above, reaching high, Finding our gaze following the hand or bringing the hand behind our backs, all the while ensuring that we're rolling the right shoulder blade back away from our ears, lifting our chests up to the sky, pressing away from the ground. Breathing deeply into the diaphragm. Good. On the next exhale, we bring our top hand back down to the floor, replacing it and lifting the left hand out. On the inhale, we open up to the left side of our body, once again drawing the left shoulder blade towards the spine, lifting our chests to the sky, pressing firmly away from the ground, and checking in with our breath. Good, one more breath, and we'll release our arm, bringing it back down to the mat. Good job. Once again, just finding stability and grounding in our hands and feet. We'll wiggle the feet in, heels and toes, bringing the feet back underneath our hips. Good, and we'll come into a vinyasa. Bending the knees, we lift our arms on the inhale, swooping all the way up to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart. We'll repeat this 3 times. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we swoop back up. And hands to heart. 2 more. Bringing our hands back to heart center. Taking a deep breath in between. And exhaling through the mouth. Chance to take a sip of water if you need. And meet me back here in mountain pose. So once again in mountain pose, we'll bring our left knee off the ground and then the right. Just moving ourselves into some stability movements, into a balancing tree pose. Bringing our hands to our hips. Keeping our feet flexed. Finding the grounding as we shift sides. Somewhere to gaze at in order to maintain our stillness of mind. Now on a diagonal, we lift our knees as high as we can. Back to center. We're going to step back into a reverse curtsy as we've done before. Bringing the knee back to 90 and replacing, switching sides. Noticing the grounding of the foot that's stabilizing us. All 4 corners of the foot pressing into the mat. challenging our minds by working and creating new patterns in our bodies. We'll do one more on each side. Great. Coming back, lifting one knee, grabbing onto the big toes. Straightening the leg out and bending it back. We'll come into our tree pose, floating, but this time with our legs elevated in the air. Good. We'll do as many as we can, maintaining a tall upper body, focused gaze. 2 more extensions as possible. Good. And then coming into tree pose, bringing our heel into our thigh. Our hands to heart center, extending them above our bodies, keeping the palms together as possible, connecting our right and left hemispheres, taking the opportunity to create some new brain cells. Pressing the knee away to the back of the room, engaging the glutes. Once again, noticing the grounding of our foot on the mat, the rhythm of our breath. Stepping into a lunge here, pivoting ourselves onto our mat, bringing our hands into cactus. We're in a tall lunge, crescent lunge. Inhale, we draw the shoulder blades back towards the spine. Exhale, we'll round out, straightening the front leg into a pyramid. Inhale, we lift the chest. Exhale, we round out, finding a firm grounding for that back foot as needed. If that feels more stable, you are welcome to come into a warrior stance. Flowing through gently to the rhythm of our breath. Lifting and elongating. Breathing length into the spine and the back of the leg. Generating power, stability, and presence in this moment. Two more flows. And we'll hold here in pyramid, allowing the hands to fall naturally wherever they will, on the thigh or the shin, perhaps even on the floor today. Listening to the sensations in the back of the leg, keeping the glutes engaged. The upper body is still elongated. We're hinging at the hips with our thigh muscles drawn in together and the hips forward facing. Good. We'll bend the front knee. Slowly come back to standing and wiggle our feet forward facing, bringing our feet underneath the hips to do our mountain and tree pose flow on the opposite leg. So bringing the leg up to 90 degrees, grabbing onto the big toe. Once again, we'll slowly extend the leg, drawing the heel back in, and then extending. Inhale, draw the heel in. Exhale, we extend. Feel the grounding of our opposite foot in the mat. Challenging our sense of awareness, our presence in the moment. Creating new neural fibers and brain cells. 2 more. And then we tuck our heel back into our thigh muscle, finding a tree pose, pressing the knee to the back of the room, bringing our hands to heart center. And this time let's open our branches nice and tall and wide. Finding a place to gaze at. Bringing our awareness back to the breath. Bring our hands back to heart center, stepping back into our high lunge, walking the feet out enough so our torso is stabilized over both legs equally, keeping our back foot's up or finding warrior stance, again drawing the thigh muscles in. On the inhale we lunge and we draw our arms into cactus, lifting our hearts. On the exhale we come into pyramid, rounding out. Inhale, we open. Exhale, we straighten and round out. Finding a flow, moving to the rhythm of our breath. Noticing the strength in our upper bodies as we draw the shoulders towards the spine. Opening our chests, filling our lungs with air. We'll do 2 more. And then we'll all meet in pyramid pose. Honoring the sensations and the state of the body. Allowing our hands to fall on the thigh or on the shins, perhaps even reaching the floor, but again, allowing our bodies to take the shape that suits us best today, not forcing any pose. Elongating the back of the leg, as well as the spine from tailbone through crown of the head, lifting the chest through and over top of the leg. We'll lower and hinge here, bending the front knee, pivoting back into goddess, and this time sinking all the way down into a malasana, heel toeing our feet to whatever pose and position is most suitable, finding grounding in both feet, pressing the upper body tall, the forearms come inside of the thighs, pressing them away. Perhaps even wiggling side to side, once again shifting the weight from our hips. Fitting the pose to our bodies, create space for yourself to breathe. And allowing ourselves to come all the way down onto our sit bones, extending our legs long in front of us into a staff pose. We'll give the legs a little shake, finding grounding in our sit bones, flexing the feet in front of us. The arms are parallel to the floor. And we'll go ahead and we'll pulse here, reaching towards the feet, allowing our chins to come to our chest. Continuing with the pulse, pressing our palms away from us, flexing at the wrists as if we're stopping a bus from hitting us as superheroes. Keeping the arms parallel to the floor. Good. And we'll slowly lower the arms back down to the mat. On the inhale, we'll stack our vertebrae one at a time. Coming now into a side plank on our forearm, shifting our weight slightly. Bringing the forearm underneath the shoulder, the elbow is directly underneath. Option to scissor the legs, option to keep the lower leg supportive, or option to stack the legs. When you're ready, find a side plank pose that suits you. Drawing the hips off the mat and somewhere to gaze at. Affirming our calm strength here, presence in the moment, trusting that this is only temporary, that you will make it through, and that you can always lower yourselves down when needed. Pressing the elbow into the mat, lifting the upper body, and we'll roll into a front plank, bringing the arms in front of us, shifting our weight so that we're stabilized. Elbows are under the shoulders, our torsos are parallel to the floor. Pressing into the balls of our feet, raising our torsos up, pressing through the shoulders. Drawing our knees up by flexing the quadriceps. The navel is being drawn through the spine up to the sky. Good, and we'll go ahead and shift over to the opposite side, still on our forearm, finding a footing that works for us, scissors stacked or supported, lifting the chest, lifting the hips and the arm above the body. Calm strength, calm strength. Pressing into the side of the foot. Good job. Bringing that top arm down to the mat. Full arm plank here. The feet are together. Toes are pressing into the mat. Hands are underneath the shoulders. Once again, we find our footing, as well as the position of our torsos parallel to the floor. We'll do one more set. Rolling over to the side, opening up the side body, lifting the arms. Drawing the hips to the sky, pressing away from the mat. Calm strength. Good. Bring the top arm back down under the shoulder. We pivot over to the other side. Two more breaths. Press, press, press. Good. And we lower all the way back down, bringing the knees down to the ground. Sinking back into an extended child's pose. shifting the hips, getting a gentle massage of the lower back, allowing the head to hang heavy. Great effort, yogis. Good. And pressing ourselves back up, we'll roll ourselves gently onto the mat, onto our backs. For one last dynamic move, we'll do some scissor legs. Bringing both feet and stacking them over top of the hips. Feeling the contact of our upper bodies against the mat. And when you're ready, we'll slowly lower one leg down to the mat at a time, scissoring the legs, maintaining and keeping our feet flexed. Slow and steady. Option to engage the upper body, bringing our arms, floating them above the head, and then on either side of the leg. Checking in with the breath and the lower back, bringing our hands underneath the hips if that's supportive for you. Slow and steady. We'll be here for 3 more breaths. And we'll go ahead and hug the knees all the way into the chest. Ah, yay for that. Good. And we'll go ahead and thread the needle, bringing one ankle onto one knee, threading through, pulsing or rocking. And you're welcome here to go straight into a spinal twist, staying in our figure 4, or even eagling the legs, rotating to the side of the body, extending the arm long, gazing over top of the arm, being gentle, rotating the spine, trying to maintain a neutral spine at the same time. Perhaps we heel toe our feet back in line with our hips. Coming into our final moves and poses before we reach our resting place. Feel comfortable to extend your practice or come straight into your resting pose if needed. Good. We'll rotate back to center. Crossing the opposite ankle over the opposite knee, hugging it in, threading the needle to start. Spending as long as you need here. And then working your way into a spinal twist. Again, whichever one works best for you today. We'll be here for a few breaths. Checking in with the sensations of our bodies. Taking a moment to notice the stillness in our bodies and appreciate the sensation of having stopped. Perhaps feeling a little bit of reprieve, release of blocked energy, and a new sense of calm and strength. Bringing our legs back to center, we find ourselves in either fetal pose or shavasana. Allowing ourselves a moment to appreciate what we've just done, praising ourselves for our efforts, repeating an affirmation in our minds that sets us up for the rest of the night and the days ahead. And with smiles on our faces, we give thanks for the opportunity to practice together. I give thanks for my parents for enabling me to do this. Bringing you all into their home. And thanking them for being so quiet every time I allow you in and I record. Thank you all for practicing with me and coming on this journey with me home. I wish you a great continuation and hearts full of love and gratitude. Namaste.